Okay, how are we all doing tonight? I'm back. I know it's been a little while, but I did have a couple videos that I was hoping to make, and this was one of the ideas, so I thought I'd just crank this out and give you my thoughts. You probably already read the description from the title, but in this video, I'll just give you a rundown of my humble opinion on United States coin designs, or more specifically, current U.S. coin designs, and what I think of them. Got a libation for the night. But what you see in front of you is pretty much the current selection of U.S. coins that you may find in circulation. Now, there are dollar coins. I probably should have brought those out. I think I actually just put those away, unfortunately. But you got your Sacagawea dollars and your presidential series golden dollars. I think they're pretty neat, actually. I like to keep them in my car with the other change. That way, if you ever happen to forget your wallet one day, you've got a little bit of spending money in the old change box there in the car. But so these are the current coins before you, and to be honest, I'm not crazy about any of them really. And a lot a lot of these designs have been around longer than a lot of the past more impressive designs that were on the United States coins before. Um, why don't we just start with the denominations? So you've got the half dollar, and this is the Kennedy half. See if we can get it to focus there. And this coin started in 1964, and it was pretty much in memory of JFK when he was assassinated. So it's got a presidential seal, the eagle, on the reverse. And then the obverse, of course, you got, a decent portrait of JFK. It looks alright. These were very popular when they first came out, and it was a design that actually killed the half dollar. Supposedly, people loved the coin and the president so much that they were pulling them out of circulation and hanging on to them as collector's items and whatnot, and they weren't really spending them. Um, so, yeah, kind of killed the half dollar. The half dollar used to be a workhorse in the U.S. economy and commerce, but it's kind of sad they're not really used too much. I do keep a couple of these in my car. I don't mind spending these occasionally. I like to keep either a quarter or a half dollar in my pocket usually. That way, if you're buying an item and it rings up to $5.03, you got something in your pocket to break the change, and you don't have to get 99 cents put in your pocket. But all right, what's my take on it? Not a big fan. It's a boring president, and that's the theme on all of these coins. So they could do better. Next coin, George Washington quarter. It's all right. You know, you can't go wrong with George Washington, one of our greatest presidents, the first president. Uh, but here's something I hate: these state, national park, and other parks and other weird commemoratives. They've been going on for like 20 years, and it needs to stop. There's a billion different designs. You need some singularity of design. So they really need to cool all the design changes. They should have just gone back to the eagle on the reverse. Let's see if I got one here. Do I? Yes. Here we go. What's this? 1998. Pretty beat up. But that's what they should have gone back to. The traditional eagle. We'll put that one there. And then, okay, so this has been here since 1932, I believe. So we're getting pretty close to 100 years. That's kind of unacceptable for a bland design like that. But it gets worse as we move on here. So this is the Franklin Roosevelt FDR, another memorial dime. And this is probably one of the weakest of all of them. I mean, he was a wartime president, but three-term president, which will never happen again with term limits. But pretty boring picture of just an old man's face. And on the reverse, just as boring. You got just kind of a memorial fire. And what else is on there? Some, I don't know, oak leaves or some leaves and flowers. I'd have to research it, but it's pretty boring. Not a great design. Dimes, they've always been steady in commerce, like the quarter. You can exclude the half dollar. We don't really use those anymore, so it's really the dimes and the quarters that people are using to make change. Then you got the nickel, 5-cent piece. These go back quite a ways, but the Jefferson nickel, I guess that started around 1938, probably 37. I can't remember exactly. Pretty decent design. Again, another impressive president. The reverse, you got Monticello, his home that he designed. But, another coin closing in on, well, getting close to 100 years. And they've changed it. I hope I brought out one of the newer ones. I was meaning to. Because they actually made the design much worse, if it's possible. Oh, gosh, and I forgot one. Hold on 1 minute. I'll see if I can go grab one. Okay, I knew I must have had one floating around here. You don't see this very often. The portrait, he's just looking square at you. It's pretty terrible. It's not a very bold stamp on the coin, so it's very low relief. I mean, it looks okay, but I guess I don't like very many coins that are almost facing you perpendicular. You gotta have the face off to the side, traditionally. It just looks really weird, and there was no reason to change it like that. They did keep Monticello the same, so still going strong. And then you got the Lincoln pennies. Now there have been some recent changes on the Lincoln cent, or the Zinkins, as I like to call them. They got rid of the copper makeup in 1982, so they're mostly zinc with a very light copper coating. But here you see they changed it to the shield design. Not sure exactly when. I think it was 2010. Before that you had, and this is a nice copper one from 1972, the Memorial cent, or penny. One thing you'll notice on the older ones in the newer design, the crummy Zinkins, it's also a lower relief. I don't know if you can see that there, but it's not very bold. Doesn't stand out. It's a weak imprint, so not as quality in my opinion. But I'm someone who, I actually do like the shield. I like that they took a stab at it to change it up a little bit, and I think it came out alright. This one actually has some interesting toning, which you don't see too often on these, being a fairly new design, This one's got some nice darker toning for a newer penny. It's got the shield. Shield's pretty nice. I mean, it's not stupendous, but it's alright. So that kind of wraps it up. Now, why do I think all these are lousy designs? Because here's what they're competing against. Classic designs of the past. That used to be the $50, right? Same with this. Franklin's. Those weren't a bad design. Here we've got an older quarter. Washington quarter, but this one's silver. Higher relief generally. And this eagle, it's not bad. That's a good design right there. So nothing wrong with it, but not a fan of the presidents. We'll get back to that. Now this guy wasn't a president, so that kind of makes him interesting. He was an iconic, almost mythical American figure. So that's an interesting coin. Here's another one. Now this is where we're starting to get over the target, so to speak. You got Lady Liberty, Standing Liberty Quarter, SLQ. And this is really what we should be going back to, is Lady Liberty. We've had so many great designs. I don't know why they stopped doing that with dead presidents. It's really a shame. The reverse is a little funny. It almost looks like a turkey vulture or something. But pretty cool. Definitely a unique quarter. I like them. I really like the obverse here. Great design. Same with the Walking Liberty halves. These, it's totally iconic. One of the greatest American coin designs. They copied it and they still use it on the American Silver Eagle bullion coins. And the reverse is pretty good too. By Adolph Weinman, I believe. It's got a nice bold eagle on it. Great coin. But what's the shame on these? This was started in 1916. I think it ran to around 1950 or so. I don't remember exactly. But, they cut its life short, What was it around for, 30, 35 years? And you got the Kennedys. They've already been around a heck of a lot longer, and it's just a totally boring design. Here you do have a 64 Kennedy, back when they actually made them out of silver, 90%. What else do we got here? So I guess we can move on to the dimes. And so we got rid of these amazing, they call them the Mercury head, because it kind of looks like it's got the wings on it, Mercury wings. But it's another Lady Liberty design. The Mercury dime. Also designed by Adolph Weinman, I believe. And the back is okay. It's got the, the fasces with the axe on it. Together, all the states are more powerful. Some symbolism there. But the dime also has traditionally been a workhorse in the American economy and commerce. I mean, it used to have some good buying power. This could probably buy you a coffee and, I don't know, maybe a little snack back in the old days. So it was worthwhile to have that in your pocket. And then we had these. The Buffalo nickel, great design. Totally classic, iconic American coin design. Look at that. And it really evokes all the cultural heritage of Americana, the founding of this country, the peoples we encountered, the indigenous people. And then you had the buffalo, which was a big part of the Native American or the Indian culture. Totally beautiful coin design. And these weren't around very long either, about 35 years. That seems to be the pattern. They got rid of all these amazing coins in about 40 years each, and then they changed them up to more boring designs. And then the pennies, you had the wheat cent. That was all right. America did have a history of having fairly boring coins early on, like the early 19th century, like the barbers and even the seated liberties. You'll notice on the reverse, it's kind of like this. It's just got the denomination and a wreath. I don't have one in front of me, but it just kind of says what it is. And it's not interesting, but the wheat cents are all right. Started in 1909. So these ones have been going over 100 years, and it's just got Honest Abe. But before that, you had a much nicer penny design. Relatively short-lived, the Indian head cents. Another iconic, beautiful copper American coin. Again, pennies used to be worth something. You'll notice it's got like that dimpling on the edge, which is kind of rare on small copper coins. But these are great. Totally great. I think this was the last year they made them, 1908. Yep. You can see it just got that traditional denomination in the wreath. But these are much nicer looking than the current ones. I think we're getting close to the end. What else do we got? Anything else here to show? Here's another interesting $50. Can you imagine if we had a coin like these? Now this was a commemorative. They made quite a few of these, and they didn't destroy very many because they were a collector's item somewhat. The Columbian Exposition, Christopher Columbus anniversary, 1492 to 1892. It's hard to read through the camera lens. What was it? Does it say it on there? Quadricentennial or something? Anyways, nice coin. And I guess that wraps it up. We're already at 17 minutes. I've gone on way too long. The theme of the show, all these boring presidential designs should go. We should replace all these coins with beautiful images of Lady Liberty. We need to go back to our roots of having interesting coins with beautiful eagles or bison on the back. Shields, Native Americans. It's kind of sad, actually, what the American coinage has become. But maybe if we go back to hard money, that'll change in the future. Thanks, guys. Like this video. Subscribe if you haven't. And I'll try to make some future videos for you guys. Have a nice night.